every couple of years, a group of my friends that I went to college with, we all like to get together and spend time with each other's families. And sometimes we'll go rent a cabin, sometimes we'll stay in a lodge. But this year, someone had the great idea that we would go tent camping and spend that weekend together doing that. Well, my family, we don't tent camp much. I've done some, but we don't have all the gear and equipment needed to do a big, over-the-top kind of camping trip. So we started thinking, maybe instead of purchasing all the things necessary, we'll just go rent a small camper for the weekend. That's what we did. And it was nice and it was enjoyable, but the camper was small because the campground was small. It couldn't accommodate very large campers, so we had to rent a small camper. And at the end of the day, while it had air conditioning and a good, comfortable bed, it was just a better tent. We didn't do anything inside the camper other than sleep, and it was a nice place to sleep, but that was pretty much it. It was just a better tent. And 100 times out of 100, I would tell you, my home is better than that camper. Now, I've seen some campers that are pretty impressive that might challenge my home, but that camper, while it was nice and clean and perfectly fine for what we needed, it wasn't my home. Sometimes my wife and I like to watch old episodes of Survivor and watching how they build these shelters that they're going to stay in for 39 days. And when one team sometimes sees the other team's shelter and how much better it is than theirs, they ooh and ah and say, oh, wow, that is such a great shelter. But if you polled every single one of the survivors, they would tell you, I'd rather be sleeping in my own bed. I'd rather be at my home. That shelter is nice, but it's not my home. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go into a home that had recently been owned by a pretty famous movie star. Beautiful home. Incredible views and some of the most incredible artwork you've ever seen. Just incredible. But you know what? Kind of like that camper was a better tent. My home is just a better tent. And even that movie star's mansion is just a better tent. It's just a better tent. And camping was fun, and my tent, my camper was nice, but it wasn't my home. And my home is nice, and sometimes life on earth can be pretty fun, but it isn't my home. It isn't my home. It's not where I'm from. It's not where I'm supposed to be. In fact, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1 says this, "For we know that if the tent that is our earthly home is destroyed, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this tent, we groan, longing to put on our heavenly dwelling." Sometimes in this tent called earth, this tent called our bodies, we do groan because we're not made for this. When we were camping, I heard some groaning camping. I heard groaning from some of my friends in the tents. I heard groaning from within my own camper. And I probably heard my own groans sometimes because the bed didn't fit me perfect and it wasn't my bed. In this world, in this body, in my home, sometimes I groan because this isn't my home. Sometimes I groan because this world can be painful. Sometimes I groan because it's not fun to get old. Sometimes I groan because it's not fun to lose people and to have your heart broken. I groan because this is not my home. But I long for the house that's not made with hands, that was made especially with me in mind, that was made especially with you in mind. Have you ever thought of owning a dream home, a home that was perfect just for you? You have one waiting for you. It's God's home, and you have a room in there. Wow, what a blessed promise. What a beautiful promise that God gives us, an invitation to His home, custom built for you. I can't wait to go there. I can't wait to see you there too. I love you all. Have a great week.